G'day everyone, it's SDS SuperCoach, providing SuperCoach content for you. So I'm here to present my team picker video. So this is the second video I'm recording, but this will come out first. So this is my official side. The previous video I did, which I think I'll release either tonight or tomorrow, is just me going over my live reaction and picking a side live. But I've had a little tweak. I've got the photo up of the team I've picked, and I'm just going to go through each player. So let's get into it. This is the second time me recording because Dad interrupted me, but it's all good. Christmas time, so early Christmas present from Santa. Releasing this as I've got the Christmas tree in the background. So yeah, let's get straight into it. No mucking about. So James Sicily's going to be the first bloke I've picked. I'm not really convinced on Sicily early days as a starter pick, but because, Sam Mitchell are currently in a massive overhaul rebuild. So maybe a bit of bias with me picking Sicily, but I'm not sure if I want to start him because we know Sam Mitchell, he likes to move the magnets around. We saw in the last two rounds last year that he moved Sicily to the midfield. Now, he did score well, but I'm just worried that they might use James Sicily as a Mr. Fix-It bloke. Plus, he's expected to be the new captain, so I don't know whether that's any added pressure. I think we've seen players in the past who get given the captaincy maybe drop a bit in form, focus more on leadership. We'll see how that goes. So I'm not convinced on Sicily, but I just don't know who else to pick because I usually like to go with 4 premium defenders to start with. Tom Stewart's the next one. When you don't have him, you miss a lot of big scores. So, look, it's hard to go past him, but another bloke that's expected to get the captaincy, and we'll see if there's any premiership hangover with the Cats. They're a well-oiled machine down in Geelong, so maybe not, but maybe the captaincy. Similar thing with Sicily, maybe drops him in a bit of form. Jordan Dawson's he's the easiest defender pick for me. Wherever he goes, he can score, and I just think that's fantastic. Apart from Connor McKenna, I expect him to be the highest owned defender for SuperCoach before round 1. So the other one I'm going to go with is Hayden Young. I think he's ready to explode. I mean, to be fair, he's already 508k, but I just think that's ridiculous value. I think he should surpass Luke Ryan. He's the best scoring defender for the Dockers, and I just think he's a great pick at a cheap price. I think your side should be looking for, if you're going to go with 4 premium defenders like me, you've got to look for a bit of value in the 4th pick. And I think Hayden Young's certainly got a bit of potential. I like Dan Rioli as a pick. I like Nick Dacos to an extent. Not as big as George on him, but I don't mind the pick. But yeah, I just like Hayden Young as an option. And the easiest pick, besides Dawson, is Connor McKenna, who's at 167.5k. Look, I think he slots in round 1. Hasn't played footy for a little bit. Obviously moved to Brisbane. He certainly kills Darcy Wilmot's potential as a round 1 starter, but I just think McKenna, a lot more experience. And I think he's just a ridiculous price that you can't refuse. Now, my rookie defender is going to be, where is he? I should just look him up, shouldn't I? Chesser. No, Chesser. Campbell Chesser. It's Chesser, isn't it? Not Chaser. There's no double E's there. So, look, he missed the whole of last year due to I think an ankle mishap in preseason training last year, or a match simulation, and I think it was like 140k or something. So he's dropped down to 123. The Eagles are certainly replenishing their list at the minute, and I just think there's no way they can't play Chaser for most of next year. So I think he'll get a bit of game time. Look, I've included him for now, but I'm not really sure if he's actually going to play round 1. Is Darcy Wilmot. So we'll see how he goes, but he's just a bench defender for now. I think we start worrying about preseason form and training after Christmas, like we're just guessing here. And look, the other one I'm going to go with is Charlie Dean, who didn't play a game last year, was riddled with injuries. He's gone up 20k, which is a bit disappointing, but those are the 2 I'm going to go for now. I think there's a bit of a gaping hole in that Collingwood backline, especially now with Darcy Moore at the minute with a bone infection or something. So the timeline's a bit skew-if at the minute. So yeah, let's head into the rucks. I don't want to spend too much time on the rookies. There's still a lot of water to go under the bridge. Yeah, that's a bit of a cliche these days. Okay, what am I doing? Yeah, Team English round one. When he's not injured, when he's not concussed, when he's not injured, he's certainly a ridiculous scorer. Now with Rory Lobb in the side, I think he certainly plays a lot of time in the ruck. We don't have to worry about Stephen Martin and all that. Look, my second ruck pick was going to be Rowan Marshall, but now with King down out for 3 to 6 months, I do expect Marshall to be playing a bit more forward time, which is a bit disappointing because he would have been my other pick. Look, at the minute, I think it's Darcy Cameron. He should be playing the full-time ruck role, and I think he did a very solid job. Certainly made a bit of coin. I'm not fully sold on the pick. I actually don't really know what to do with R2 at the minute. It's still up in the air for sure. So, look, at the minute, it's Darcy Cameron, but a lock and change for sure. Now, when I recorded the last video I did, I put Nick Madden because he's a ruck forward at R3, but I'm debating whether to put him in the forward line. I should have already solved this, but there's a lot of good forward rookies early days, in my opinion. So look, for now, we won't worry about DPP. There's still a long way to go. We won't worry about that for now, because you'll eventually, well, you guys will see now in the forward line. I really like some of the rookies there. So we'll see how we go. So Josh Dunkley's as big of a lock as you'll get in SuperCoach. He's still a forward, and I think he'll certainly get a full-time mid role. This might be the last season as Dunkley as a forward, which is a bit sad. Maybe for the other bloke we're about to pick in Connor Rosie. Look, I'm pretty sold on these two at the minute. Rosie should be a full-time mid next year. I've seen some preseason photos. He's certainly bulked up, which is good. Good sign if you're going to be playing full-time mid. So pretty keen for these two. I think Dunkley, he's going to be with Neil and McCluggage in the guts. There might be a bit of rotation along with Ashcroft, but he's going to play 90% midfield, in my opinion. Might start the odd time on half forward because he's certainly capable of doing that. My next pick at the minute is Ben Cunnington. Now, he's a little bit more expensive than I would have liked. I won't lie. He averaged 49. He's still he only played 2 games last year and still at 419K. Look, for now, I guess I'm going to start him because, as you'll see by the end of this team build, I've got a little bit of coin, not too much, to work with because I originally had 5 here, but then I saw I had like 200K spare, so I just thought, we'll upgrade him to Cunnington, who I prefer as an option over 5. Should be playing a lot of mid time. Hopefully he's doing all well in preseason. Hopefully he's smashing it. And look, that's my pick there. Look, for now, it's is this an old photo? I thought I didn't include Toby McLean. I've got Toby McLean here, but I actually like Ben King as an option. To be honest, I think Ben King's like 176K. That's ridiculous. He'll play week in, week out as a forward. Won't be a keeper, but he could be the Charlie Curnow of 2023, where he just skyrockets in price. I'm not sure if these are the set in stone prices. I think last year when we had the team picker, they definitely were. So I think that's what I think. I'm pretty sure these prices are pretty locked and loaded, ready to go right now. So look, Ben King, I think, he has to be. Well, he doesn't have to be in your side. There's certainly a lot of options here with Toby McLean, Brent Daniels, Sheasel if you want. I'm not too keen on him. I think he's just going to be Rochelle of 2023. Fantasia, Cadman, Tippin Woody, Allen. So there's certainly a few, but I just prefer Ben King as an option. Maybe Oscar Allen's a better option because he could get a bit of ruck time, which is interesting. I don't know. Look, for now, I'm going to go with King. I did say this was locked and loaded, but, team picker's been out for what? An hour and a half, so nothing set in stone yet. This is what my current side is at the minute, though. Joe Richards, the teacher from was it Wangaratta, or I think it was it might have been Yarrawonga or something. But yeah, Joe Richards is an experienced. I think he's like 22 years old, small forward, and I think he will play some game time for the Pies alongside Elliott and Ginnivan and whoever else you can name, Bobby Hill. So I really do like the idea of Joe Richards as an early pick. And another one is Tom Emmett from the Dockers. Now there's a gaping hole in the forward line for the Dockers at the minute with Rory Lobb going. And obviously they had a little bit of an exodus, but they've replenished their talent with Josh Corbett, Jagger O'Meara, Luke Jackson. So look, Tom Emmett, I think he's like 23 years old. He was in the Sandful. I could be very wrong, but I'm pretty sure he was at Sturt maybe. So I think he's a sneaky option along with Josh Corbett. So we'll have to detect that in pre-season to see who's actually ahead of who, because I don't mind going up to getting Josh Corbett instead of Tom Emmett, but there might be a lot better options. But and then we won't muck around with these two. Van Rooyen is expected to play a lot more for 2023, so I think we'll just include Jacob Van Rooyen. I'm disappointed he doesn't have DPP again, to be honest. I think he was a ruck forward, defender forward last year, so a bit disappointing. But I think he should get some early. I think he should start getting a lot more game time for the Ds. And I don't think many people are going to pick this bloke, but as a Hawthorn man, I do think Fergus Green will replace Gunston play round one. He kicked 53 goals in 17 games for the Box Hill Hawks, and that's certainly been a bit of a hit for development and recruitment for Hawthorn as of late with Box Hill players, with James Blank played a bit in the second half of the year from the mid-season draft, and Jai Newcomb, of course, who's a young gun now, in my opinion. I mean, he won the Coaches Association Player of the Year, and you look at the names that have won it before, and certainly a good talented bunch. So anyway, I'll stop talking about Hawthorn, but I think Fergus Green will play round one, in my view. All right, midfield, let's get this over and done with. Clayton Oliver, I don't care how expensive he is, we're playing him. We're picking him. Rory Laird's an interesting one, because I think last year my mistake was selecting the top three most expensive midfielders in my side. I think you certainly got to balance it out a bit more. And I'm noticing now that I'm not doing that, there's a bit more to work with in terms of players around the ground. So I think Clayton Oliver, I think it's an absolute must to start one of Laird or Oliver. I think a lot of people are going to lean more towards Oliver, maybe because he's Victorian, plays for a Victorian club. You see him play more. He's a premiership contending side. So, yeah, look, Oliver or Laird, one of them has to be in your side. I'm pretty convinced. Lockie Neal, too expensive. Jack McRae, we're going to go with. Now without Dunkley, you would expect him to play a bit more closer into the contest. He was playing a bit on the outside a little bit. So I think you've got to play. And I think Jack McRae's a good pick. A little bit more pricier than I would have thought, but I mean, it is in order, so it does make sense, does check out. I'll tell you what, I'm not going to pick him, but Christian Petrarca, by the way, is looking fit as a fiddle, and I do enjoy his TikToks. They certainly get through my day, and I'm very happy with his TikToks. They certainly bring a smile to my face with his cooking and all that. You love to see it. And his vlogs, you love it. Jack Steele, I'll stop talking about Petrarca now, but Jack Steele, 604K, is certainly a bit of value for what he's capable of as a player. We'll see what Ross Lyon's game plan is, but you'd think he's, in the guts every single stoppage for St Kilda next year for sure. So Jack Steele, definitely an option for me. Now it's this it's this fourth midfield premium that's got me a bit stuck, to be honest. But I've leaned on Tom Green ahead of Tom Mitchell, ahead of Luke Davies-Uniacke. But Tom Green, I think, I do expect the Giants to be a lot better next year. So I think in my opinion, they're top 8 next year. So that might be a big call, but I do think Tom Green will lead the way in that midfield with Hopper and Taranto gone. So I do think Tom Green will be playing a bit next year. Well, he'll play every game next year if he doesn't get injured or suspended. But I just think he's such a great pick. So, and I think he could have an Andy Brayshaw sort of season next year. He's an absolute young gun of the competition. This one's piss easy. I'll just type it. Jacob Hopper, not Hooper. I'm doing shocking with this. Jacob Hopper, 332k. He's not a keeper, but he'll certainly make a lot of money and certainly will be very popular in SuperCoach. So I think he's like your Jared Berry of last season. I think I made that mistake. I went like all in with the very expensive midfielders with the with none of these mid prices. I'm certainly switching up my tactic a little bit. I'll talk more about my game plan next year, but certainly I think this has helped a bit, going a bit cheaper in the midfield. You know, not picking Laird, Oliver, Neil, for example. So I've spread it out, the money out a bit more, and it helps with my side. So Jacob Hopper is my M5 at the minute. And I just like picking four mids. You can say to yourself at the start of the year, all right, I'm already halfway through picking my midfield for the season. And, you know, the midfielders are the hardest to get because they score the most. So I think that's certainly just a line that I can be half mentally in my head. I'm halfway through. So I'm doing Will Ashcroft, pretty easy. He should play round one in such a good side. In the Brisbane Lions, certainly going to be a real challenger for next year. So I think Ashcroft is certainly a pick where you don't overthink it. You just pick him. And he should be playing every week, in my view. He could have, I think Chris Fagan said last year, or someone at the Lions said last year, that he should be playing, he would have played last season as well. So that's mental. So I think Will Ashcroft is a bloke you go with there. Now let's just get this over and done with. Cam McKenzie from the Hawks. I'll call him Frenchie this year because he's been in France for a year and we've already got a C-Mac in Connor McDonald. But I think he will be playing a lot in the midfield. Maybe early days he plays more on the wing, maybe half-back. He's certainly capable of playing there. I think he's going to be a bit of a winger next year though. But in the second half of the year, they'll certainly play him a bit more in the guts. I think he's just a safe bet to play round one. I think he just plays each and every week. Hawthorn's got to do that. Elijah Hewitt seems more ready-made at the minute than Ruben Ginbey. And I think he's a bit of an exciting prospect for the West Coast Eagles. I think he was expected to slip a bit in the draft due to, I think his interviews weren't that good. But West Coast certainly picked him, and I'm very happy for Hewitt to be there. I think don't know too much about him, but I think they'll play him half forward maybe. I think he's more of a mid forward, so might get the odd CBA as the Eagles transition. Haven't spent too much time on this, but Josh Sin, for me, I'm picking. I think he might get a bit more game time, although this is just a big guess. This must be an old photo because there's certainly a rookie in here that I didn't mean to pick. Oscar Baker. I think I heard this morning there's a lot of hype from the Dogs internally inside the four walls that they're pretty keen on Oscar Baker. So I think there's a chance that he could be a cheeky rookie for us next year. And where is he? He was 117k. I think it's Corey Wagner, if I can find him. Am I blind? No, I'm not. Corey Wagner, mature age recruit. I think it was pick 50 around, something like that in the national draft for the Dockers. And he was fantastic. I believe he played for Port Melbourne. And I think he'll certainly get a bit of game time. So, I think that the Dockers are actually really good at nailing these mature age recruits. So I've got two of them in here, and Emmett and Wagner. Yeah, we'll be interested to see how that goes. Anyway, let me save my side. I've still got 80k in the bank to work with, just in case. Saved the side. So, thank you guys for watching. Pre-season for SuperCoach is now over, so I'll certainly look to upload more in the pre-season. The break's over. So, hope you guys have a good day. Hope you pick your side. Let me know in the comments down below on who you think I should have picked instead of this bloke or whatever, or who you're thinking of picking. And I'll certainly reply to each comment. So yeah, hope you guys have enjoyed the team picker, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.